It's Reality Check with Craig Price.
I'm an idiot.
4 minutes in and I'm already wrong.
I'm like a monkey. Hello, look at me.
You're like a beautiful mind. I'm more like Forrest Gump. So it's,
Craig Price is the man.
I knew it. Craig, shut up.
it's Reality Check with Craig Price. I'm your host, Craig Price, and this week, Ralph Peterson is back to talk about dieting. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you for listening. My friend and past guest, Ralph Peterson, is back on the show to talk about his amazing transformation and weight loss, but more importantly, we discuss the ups and downs emotionally of dieting. You know, I'm not unfamiliar with dieting, to be honest. I just started another one yesterday. Between my gig at the end of the year for Nerd Year's Eve and the fact that I know eggnog will be flowing at the Price household most of the winter, starting hopefully sooner than later, I need to lose about 15 pounds in the next 3 months. Now, my doctors would love it if it was more like 25, but knowing the holidays are just around the corner, I'm trying to be realistic about my weight loss. And, you know, dieting isn't easy for many. I think a lot of us can relate to dieting in general. It can be a struggle. It's not fun. They keep saying there's great ways to do it, and I have yet to find one that's easy and tastes good and is fun to do. There's so many out there, and there's so many different diets, it's hard to know what to choose. You know, the Atkins is with meat, and then there's the vegetarian, you're not supposed to have any meat. You can't tell because there's so many different ways of doing it, and it's all personally based on what your body is willing to do and can do. But Ralph is here to talk more about the emotional aspect of it, how to deal with people either being unintentionally unsupportive or just trying to deal with the struggle internally to keep trying every day. You know, I'm a stress eater. 2016 hasn't been a great year for me, so I've had to fight off both Ben and Jerry on a daily basis, and I have not been winning. But I know for many it's even harder, especially when your weight loss needs to be triple digits. I only need to lose 20 pounds, but some people need to lose 100, 150. And when you hear about Ralph, it's even more than that. And it's not just to be thin, that's just to start to be healthy, which is why Ralph is here to discuss his journey through the dieting world. He's not promoting a system. He does have a book coming out, but that's sometime soon, and he's just here to share. He's not here to promote anything, just to tell his story. So let's learn about dieting from our good friend, Ralph Peterson. Well, man, it is great to see you. For those of you who don't know, you were the first podcast I was on. And actually, is that podcast still going?
It's not.
I didn't think so.
No, the Housekeepers podcast it died.
Is it still accessible?
No, it isn't. Although everybody keeps requesting, so maybe I'll put it back up.
Well, then what I'm going to need from you right now is I need that MP3.
Of course.
So I can put it back, because what I have on my website, and I've had it ever since I started my website for the podcast at realitycheckpodcast.com, is wherever I'm a guest on somewhere, I put it on my thing.
Sure.
And so now I have a dead link. So thank you.
I will give you that MP3.
So thank you very much.
That's not a dead link.
For those of you who know, it's Ralph Peterson.
Hello.
You do a lot of leadership talks.
That's right.
But we're not here for that today.
No.
Because I want to say...
We are kind of.
Well, yeah, but...
Kind
So how far did you run today?
8 miles.
8 on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. I would never run if somebody was chasing me. I know that's always the gag.
Are you
run if somebody's chasing
Are you
me,
like a
not
bear?
me.
You just kind of curl up in a ball and let
That's
them
right,
beat you
and
up?
cry like a little girl. That's exact. No.
Let them beat you with sticks like a
Yeah.
piñata until the blood comes out? So the reason why you run so much is that, and we're here to talk about dieting, and it's not the typical way, because you're not talking about a system. You're not talking about a program.
No.
It's just your experience and really about how you can support emotionally and internally yourself while dieting.
Yeah, and almost a little bit more than that.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Well, my book is called Adventures in Dietland, and 101 tips on how I won at the game of dieting. And I didn't go see a therapist. Okay, a lot of people are like, you got to figure out why it is you're overeating. You know what I had to do? I had to physically remove the food from my house.
Yeah, I overeat, and I overeat a lot for 2 reasons. Stress. So it's a calming effect for me.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of people, especially our age, we're in our 40s. You're almost close to 50, right?
I'm 45.
God.
So I guess halfway between.
No, I'm 43, so you're just my age. But I think when we grew up in the 70s and 80s, we were rewarded with treats.
Absolutely.
Ice cream here, cookies there, but we weren't given a lot. It's not like it's just how they did it.
I was given a lot.
Well, I was not,
Yeah,
because I think my
was raised in a heavy household.
I think my mother was heavy when she was a kid, and she got real thin on purpose. So she's lost a lot of weight and has stayed off, but I think she has that food guilt. So when she would give us treats, because she wanted us to have treats, but she wouldn't give us a lot of treats because
Sure.
she didn't want us, because she knew what it was like to be the little fat kid. And kids are not polite or nice to each other.
No, that's true.
And so that leads to more down the road.
I
But
was never a fat kid, though. I got heavy older in life.
I didn't get.
I was a real thin kid.
And I'm not. People go, "Oh, you don't look overweight," and I don't look overweight, but I am 20 pounds overweight. My doctor even says you need to lose 10 pounds because I guess like it spreads even for me. Some people have the unfortunate. It all goes in one spot.
I do. The belly. It
Yeah.
goes right to my belly.
So when you started, what caused? How big? What was your highest number?
So I say 342
Okay.
because I hit 342 twice,
Okay.
which is odd, and I got called on it. I was talking to a bunch of friends about this whole weight loss journey, and I weighed 300. I got on a scale, weighed 342 pounds, which is the number one tip. Get on a scale. Go find out how much you weigh. Don't be scared. 342 pounds, and I was devastated. That's the heaviest. I'm fighting back diabetes at 342 pounds. I mean, it's ridiculously heavy. My neck was a 20. A 20. It's
I remember.
horrible.
Because when we met, you were not at your smallest.
No, I was not. I wasn't even close. I was almost at my biggest. So I joined Weight Watchers, and I have some great success. I lose like 65 pounds. And I'm at dinner with some colleagues, and this is at the time the Weight Watchers had, it wasn't an app. You had to literally have like a slide.
I've done it as a point system.
Exactly. And a friend pulled it out of my back pocket to embarrass me at the bar. And like, what do you need this for? You're no longer heavy. You should have just handed me donuts. I mean, as soon as he said that, I was like, wow, I'm really not heavy. And I ordered the cheeseburger and the fries. It took no time at all before I put it all back on. And I get back on the scale. I'm miserable. It's a year later. I hate myself. I finally get back on the scale, and I'm 342 pounds again. So I'm telling this story to a friend of mine, and he's like, that's a weird number to hit twice. And I agree. I'm like, that is. He's like, I wonder how high your scale goes. It only went to 342 pounds. I went back and I got on the scale and I picked up everything I could to hold it. It maxed out it went E after 342. You know what I mean? Like you could stand on if you move one way or another, it goes E3. So it was well over 342. So I say 342 because I don't know, but
342 plus.
342. Oh, good Lord.
And
horrible.
And it's not easy to maneuver.
No.
And it's not easy to get around at 342 plus.
I remember being scared. I'd see a car accident and I would be scared. Like you'd see a car accident, I'd be like, I would never be able to get out of that car. If at my weight, I read a study once that people who are over 300 pounds and slip in the bathtub have a more chance of dying from that fall in the bathtub than people who are not over 300. Like there's statistics of just accidents killing you at 300 pounds is ridiculous. It's scary. It's scary.
So what was the thing that said, wait a second, the second time? The first time it was probably,
Sure.
hey, I got to lose weight. But then at some point when you gain it back again, a lot of people would just go, I'm 342 and that's who I am.
And I did that 100 times. Hence the whole Adventures in Dietland, which I talk about I've tried, I swear, almost every diet you can think of. The biggest catalyst or the biggest change that I was able to, I woke up in the Bahamas fat. I was on vacation and I was a bit of a drinker, and I woke up overweight and hungover and embarrassed. I'd had a drunken, dumb night the night before. And I figured out that if I was going to be successful in life, forget just being overweight and drinking, I needed to get new friends. I needed to hang out with new people.
So you really feel that the influence was from outside as well as inside. I mean, obviously you have stuff inside that these outside people are triggering.
Yep.
But I hear that a lot, especially with money, and it drives me crazy. It's like, well, if you want to be rich, you got to find richer friends. But the concept is, well, why would your richer friends hang out with you because you don't have any money?
Sure.
So at some point there's got to be someone who defies that logic to help bring you up. So you get rid of. So you notice that your buddies are making fun of you about the Weight Watchers.
No, I've noticed that my buddies are overeaters like I am.
Okay, so they're comrades in arms.
They're comrades in arms, and so we're all just overeaters, and we pick on each other, but we don't. None of us go to that. Hey, let's have a serious conversation. You're really overweight, and quite frankly, at 340, 50 pounds, I wouldn't have even appreciated that conversation. Who the hell are you? Don't leave me alone. We're always in denial, those of us who are 350 pounds.
Or shame. where you know for a fact that you're heavy and you know that you're in a dangerous area, but then when people bring it up, it just slapping you in the face with your mortality.
I think that's what I meant. Shame.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's true. It's true.
But I think it's both.
Embarrassed. No, just mortified.
Yeah, because it is tough it's tough to talk to other people about, hey, because no one wants to go, hey, you're pretty heavy. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to admit it. I don't want to say it.
Yep.
But we also don't want you to die, and we don't want you to be ill, or because we have friends that are a little heavy who are constantly having health problems, and you can it's a constant concern. But I don't know where it's my place to say something.
I would never say something.
Yeah, I haven't.
I mean, neither. Even today, people come up to me all the time and say, people who know me, and say, "How did you do it?" And you can't stop me from talking. I want to help, but I know how much I hated when somebody called me out on it. Because I know you're trying to help. I know that your friend is heavy and there's diabetes and you're concerned for his or her life. I know it, but you're calling them out, and you wouldn't like to be called out on don't call.
And it's even tough when they compliment you now, because the one thing that I always hear, it's not a backhanded compliment. It's just that people don't know how to compliment you. And when you have a drastic change like you have, they want to acknowledge the fact that there's a big gap between your lowest point and now how wonderful you are. So they go, "Man, Ralph, you look great." They start off real nice.
Absolutely.
And then they go, "You were so fat. Oh my God, you were so fat. I was so worried about you. I didn't want to get in an elevator with you because I thought I would crash, but you were so fat. But look how great you are. You look fantastic." And so it's a crap sandwich.
Absolutely.
But the problem is, that's a pretty heavy dose of crap that maybe you haven't dealt with.
You know what? So I started writing this book and trying to write down because I kind of mapped it out. I train managers. That's what I do. And so when you train managers, you manage people. You got to go, okay, this is where we're starting. This is what we're going to do here. Then this is where we're going to end. This is how we're going to critique it. This is how we're going to review it. So I decided, I was like, all right, so dieting's got to be like that for me. I got to figure out where to start, where to end, know my triggers, the whole thing. I treated my diet like it was my job, which is another tip. Treat it like your job. As I'm writing the book and coming up with tips, I'm like, it'd be fun is to do a video. Like just do a 30-second or 2-minute, this is the weight loss tip for the day, or try this or try that. And I kept not doing it because I was, I'd make a video and then I would look horrible. I would not, the sound wouldn't be right, or nothing was ever perfect. And then I go to a conference, and to your point, some people I only see at this conference, so it's once a year. They're like, "Oh my God, you should have seen Ralph when he was 300." And I was embarrassed. And I'm like, I meet people brand new. They never know I was an overeater. They never know that I struggled with weight. They never knew how heavy I was. And that's kind of liberating because I get to have this new life. But at the same time, people are just trying to be complimentary. They're proud of me. And they're like, "You look how great he is. You should have said, Ralph, show him the picture of you when you're." And I was mortified at it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop being mortified at it. So now I do the video series, and I was like, listen, I'm going to start every video out the same way. I'm Ralph Peterson, and I used to weigh over 350 or 300 pounds. That's me. I used to be that, and I'm not anymore. And this is kind of the things I did. I embraced some strategies.
So how did you get past the shame? Because I think that's the number one thing that people can do to lose weight is to get past the fact that they're ashamed that they're heavy and just start losing the weight. Because I think a lot of people, just the act of trying to figure out the dieting is because I diet every once in a while. I mean, last year, because I had to present, and it's all ego. It's shame based because I had to present, and my wife had gotten me some new shirts earlier in the year that I had quickly outgrown because when business is not doing well, you can tell because my face gets fuller because I am a Ben & Jerry's support system. Ben & Jerry's are my support group.
Yeah.
And so I put on about 25 pounds from my lowest weight when she bought those shirts, and then until about 2 months before last year's conference. And I put on those shirts. They were like those Mark Anthony editions.
Yeah.
They're for skinny people.
Sure.
And so when I bought them, they fit just barely, but they fit. So I didn't go, yeah, let's get these, and not knowing that all I have to do is think about food, and then it doesn't fit. But they were so tight, and I'm like, I'm not going to go buy new shirts. I refuse to buy new shirts.
Good for you.
Well, I'm cheap. And,
No.
But so my wife, who's very good at research, has started doing stuff, and I lost about 20 pounds in about 6 weeks. But it was miserable. I was miserable those 6 weeks because I had to be, because I had a goal. But I accepted the shame of, you screwed up. Now, unfortunately, I went right back into that shame cycle. So I'm still, right now, when you say 342, I can't get below 175 on a regular basis, and I should be about 155 for my frame. So I accepted the shame for a brief moment, but it came right back as soon as I was done. I mean, literally at the conference, as soon as I walked off stage and I knew I didn't have anything to do in front of people. Let's go to Five Guys and get something to eat to reward myself. And that's the problem, is I reward myself for doing a good job for losing weight.
With food.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways to reward ourselves. We do it with food. I do it the same thing. I got to tell you that embracing the shame is number one. You should be embarrassed. If you're,
But
not
what about
if you're
the people
20 pounds overweight, but if
No,
you're,
no,
if
but
you're 150 pounds overweight, which is what I was, I had a right to be embarrassed. I had earned that embarrassment.
But what about all the people who say that you shouldn't be fat? Well, we shouldn't be fat shaming anybody else, is what you're saying. But
Yeah.
you should be fat shaming yourself.
You certainly should.
But you
be.
should never fat shame another person.
That's right.
Okay.
That's absolutely. I would not fat shame anybody else, but I certainly was hard on myself. There's a book by Steve Siebold called Get Tough or Die Fat. You don't even have to read the book. Don't even read the book. Just think about that title. Get tough or die fat. It's your choice. But it's going to be tough. Losing weight is tough. You have to make the decision to eat healthy every single time you're going to eat. It's not, I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure you've had the same thing. I've decided, come Monday.
It's always on Monday.
On Monday, I'm going to cut the bullshit. I am going to have my life in order. Come Monday, it's going to happen.
So Friday night, we go grocery shopping for
Oh, my
Monday.
God.
But then what happens Sunday night?
We eat like a banshee. And you know what else? You know what I just realized? My friend, she bought a bunch of, I buy a lot of fruit. So some of the fruit wasn't on the table. There was some plums and peaches missing. Now, she has some teenagers in the house, boys. And so there's these jars of pretzels and cookies and peanuts and all this stuff I can't have, right? But they, because they're teenagers,
They have a metabolism.
they have a metabolism. Once you're hitting your 40s, forget it, it's all downhill.
Well, for some of us, it's our 30s.
Ugh. I know.
I lost my. So what happened? So I got 33 years old. All of a sudden, I turned into a sweaty fat guy. I would never sweat, and then all of a sudden now, right now, it's a little warm in here because it's Phoenix.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be in the middle of my house at night. I had to do a photo shoot at dark, so I'm like holding a flashlight. It's 70 degrees in my house, but I'm sweating because I'm just moving a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I just turned into a sweaty guy.
Oh, crazy.
But that's because my metabolism changed
Yeah.
at 30.
Yeah.
But
So
the plums are missing. The peaches are missing.
I'm trying to find, where are they? I find them. They're in the refrigerator, in one of the drawers, and they're no longer good because they've been there for 4 or 5 days. And I dawned on me, I'm like, why do we keep the pretzels and the stuff I can't have on the counter and the fruit in the refrigerator I don't see? Because I eat what I see. Whatever's on the counter, whatever's in front of me, I'm like, am I hungry? I don't know. What is that? What do you have? You want to eat? I don't know. What are you having?
Yeah, or the worst is going to a Mexican restaurant and they put the chips down, and you will just eat them.
For no reason.
You'll eat a bucket, and then they'll come on and they'll give you another one,
Yep.
and you're full, and you just ordered your food.
You haven't
and
even eaten
and you
yet.
just keep eating.
Yeah.
I have that. I do the same thing with the big popcorn at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm not hungry, I just shovel. Next thing I know, the movie's over. There's empty popcorn, and it's like I didn't need all that.
Yeah. I am the worst because I love going to the movies.
I do
going to
too.
the movies to me is I reward myself at the movies every Saturday. I usually do a long run on Saturdays, and a long run's anything 10 miles or more. So on Saturdays, I'll run my tail off in the morning, and then I'll go to the movies. I'll get a big bucket of popcorn and a full Sprite, not a diet Sprite,
Sprite Zero.
not a Sprite Zero, a regular Sprite. And I always think to myself, I need the carbs. Listen, I just ran. I don't need the carbs. And that's the other thing. Running doesn't mean you can eat anything you want. I've run 17 marathons at this point, and if I eat a donut, it'll literally show up on the corner of my stomach. You can see the whole donut ring. It's horrible.
You should probably chew. I mean, It's probably, if they can see the whole donut hole, you might want to try chewing instead of just swallowing an entire
My
donut.
point is, I don't lose I can't eat a donut.
Right, I know. The mental picture was like, wait a second, man, chew, buddy, you're gonna choke on that, man. So you got that. So that, what was the second that we said the shame, that you accepted the shame? But what was there a catalyst? Was there one single thing, or was it just a matter of?
It was a million things. You know, what's funny is that we always want to know, what is it to hit rock bottom? Like, that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's my rock bottom?
And not everybody has to hit rock bottom. I don't hit rock bottom when you're 20. When you have to lose 20, 25 pounds, that you're not hitting rock bottom ever.
Sure. My rock bottom wasn't. I felt like I hit rock bottom 100 times. To be honest, like I have had some
you bounced a couple
embarrassing
times.
moments. Thank you.
Everybody does. Don't worry about it.
I have been in the lowest of lows, but it wasn't until I got a glimpse of myself and how other people were seeing me, and it wasn't pretty, and I didn't want.
Was it just a photograph? Was it a
No,
conversation
it was.
you had?
It was.
Did you overhear something?
I was being escorted by a security guard in the Bahamas back to my room to be put on overnight watch because I had drank too much and I fell in the pool, and what I like to say, I
emptied the pool.
Oh, Craig, cut it out. Good to see the Kool-Aid guy, right? Jumps in the pool and the water goes everywhere.
Hey, you can't laugh at the situation.
No, I know. But
otherwise, it's just a really sad story, and I don't want to.
No, I agree. And you know what? The truth is, I wasn't the type of. I was not being the person I wanted to be. I wasn't being the person I knew I could be. And here's the thing: if you want to be 150 pounds less, you have to start acting like a 150 pound less person. You can't. I would say somebody would go, you should do something like Weight Watchers. I'm like, I don't want to track. Listen, if you don't want to keep track, you don't want to pay attention to what you're eating, that's your problem. You have to pay attention. You have to know how much food you should have each meal and only eat that much food.
Because I got to tell you, when I first met you and you talked about what you did, your personality and your job didn't match your body. You're super positive, you're super high energy, you're wonderfully friendly and outgoing and inspiring to people, but it doesn't pay off because you're not doing all that stuff for yourself.
Thank you. That's very complimentary. I really appreciate that, and you're absolutely right. I treated everybody better than I treated myself,
and it was tough because it's like when you get to know somebody and maybe you can give some advice to the supporters, because it's again, we don't know what to say or do. Mm-hmm. When you see someone that you know and you love and you care for and you see them all the time and you see them in a bad situation health wise, mm-hmm. that they have some control over, not if they catch a disease,
sure.
But I'm talking about, that if they just changed a couple things in their lifestyle,
yep.
they would be so much healthier.
Yep.
How can someone who doesn't have that problem or issues be more supportive besides just saying, hey, you look great?
You can be practical. I say be extremely practical, especially if you're with that person a lot. If I learned a lot by stalking thin people. I mean, I literally would watch people who were 200 pounds, my height, a male, somebody who looked kind of had the same lifestyle as me, and I would watch what they ate at the buffet and how many times they went up for the buffet. By the way, they only went once. They didn't go 8 times like me.
And they didn't pile their plate.
They didn't pile their plate.
It's not all you can eat one plate. It's all you can eat, and that's the problem, is that people pile it up, and then they still go back.
Exactly. And here's the other thing. Here's a huge revelation I got. It does not matter what I ate when I am full. I could be starving right now. And if I eat, you name whatever it is I'm going to eat. If I eat a bunch of donuts right now to get full, as soon as I'm full, I no longer taste those donuts. I could eat a bunch of carrots. As soon as I'm full, I no longer taste those carrots. It doesn't matter what I eat once I'm done eating. What a great concept. What a great liberating concept, because it means that I can eat something healthy as long as I overeat watermelon.
I love watermelon.
Until your gut busts with watermelon.
Because you're just going to pee most of that out.
Yeah, but no, my point is in 10 minutes after you're done eating that watermelon, you are no longer going to care what it is you ate. You are full. So if that's the case, then you don't need to have the Big Mac. You don't need to have pizza. Don't cheese is not a protein. Don't add cheese to everything.
So, like I said, we're not doing a program, but there are some legitimate steps.
Legitimate.
So the
tips.
first one is accept shame.
Yeah, accept
and
shame.
and then understand what your eating habits are.
Know how much you should be eating.
But again, for someone who's trying to help out, be practical. How can I, if in a situation, be supportive without being shaming or detrimental? Because last thing I want to do is say something that I don't think is bad that causes you to be a trigger to maybe veer off, just even if it's just for a day. Because sometimes people will do this while you're dieting. Oh, it's a cheat day. This could be your cheat day.
Cheat day.
And they don't understand. It's like giving an alcoholic a beer. It's just one beer. You can have just nurse it all night.
Yep.
It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Yep.
So how can the civilians help you?
You know what?
Well, you don't need it anymore. But when you
No,
did.
I still need it.
Do
Don't do that to me. I am still.
See, that's what I need to know.
I still struggle. I struggle immensely with food. Every single meal, I have to make a decision that I'm not going to eat like an asshole.
There's my explicit tag. Go for it.
Apologize.
No, believe me, there's plenty of episodes with explicit tags.
I just
Jessica Pettit knows.
I just want to say that every meal I have to make the decision. We're at a conference. The first night we were here, you know what dinner was?
No.
Sliders.
Oh yeah.
It was cheeseburger sliders and French fries. I can't have cheeseburger sliders and French fries. I cannot have that for dinner. I can't have that ever. That's not. My weakness is tater tots. You put me at a restaurant that has tater tots, and I'm telling you, it is a struggle for me not to have tater tots. It's ridiculous because they're tater tots. It's not like they're. It's tater. But I struggle every meal.
So one thing, because I want to make sure that
don't expose your friend to that. If you want to ask me out to dinner.
And don't assume that their journey is over.
Yeah, don't
I
assume
think that's the big problem because I just did it and I didn't know.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
I worry about because I do know, having been with people who have addictive personalities and eating disorders, both directions, whether they eat too much or they don't eat enough.
Yeah.
Just by reinforcing it, like, oh, you're doing great.
Yep.
It's like, oh well, since I'm starving myself, and they say I'm doing great, I'm going to keep starving myself, or just the opposite.
You know what? Let me add this: I am not too skinny. I am not too skinny, and people tell me all the time, and I know
it's
that
because
in
of
their
what
way
it used to look like.
They're trying to be very helpful. But what happens in a real way is they say, "Oh, you're skinny now." I told you that story.
Yeah.
It went right to my head. I am not too skinny. You are not too skinny. If you've had some success, continue on that success. We should always be paying attention to what we eat. We should never turn it off. There's another book called The Zone, or The Zone Dieting. The greatest thing I got out of that book, and again, I've tried every diet, is they talk about being in the zone, so eating the right food for your body and your blood type. It only takes one meal to get back in the zone. Have you ever had a diet where you start on Monday, you wait till Monday, you start, and then literally Monday evening, the world falls apart, the kids are screaming, it's too easy to just order pizza. So you do, and you go, you know what, I'm just going to diet next Monday. I'll start again next Monday.
I postponed plenty.
The day that you start didn't even end before you gave up on it.
I did that knowing I was coming here. I was like, I'm not going to diet because my wife had things planned for Monday, Tuesday. I'm like, I'm gone Wednesday. I'm going to be at Phoenix at the JW Marriott. I'm not going to have a car, so it's not like I'm going to go to some nice healthy place, which I did. I went to Nourish from Kirsten Carey's vegan restaurant. It's fantastic, and I had a wonderful salad that was very healthy. but that was one meal. I've been eating garbage, great tasting garbage, but I've been eating garbage for the week. Knowing that, I just postponed it, which is me being bullshit.
There's no reason to. I can't remember the basketball player, but a friend of mine was just saying that he ran into his professional basketball player in the gym in like, I don't know where, Hawaii or something. So it's a professional basketball player. The guy's literally on vacation in the gym at the hotel.
Well,
and he goes, why? He goes, I'm on vacation. My workout's not on vacation. My job's not on vacation. I still have to work. You can't not eat well because you're on vacation. Don't give that. Have the cheat meal, but make it a meal. No, don't do a cheat day.
Well, here's the thing. You can have something different.
Sure.
That's the thing. It's not eat more. It's try something different. You're on vacation, so you live in Boston, and you come to Phoenix, try the Mexican food.
Sure.
Don't have a huge thing of it,
Yeah.
but try something because I've been in Boston. We're both from the Boston area. They don't have good Mexican food there because it comes from a can or it comes from a bag, so it doesn't taste good. So you just don't overdo it.
Yeah.
But try something different. Don't try more.
Yeah. No, I agree. I got to say that throughout this whole process of losing 150 pounds, of regaining control of my life, I have truly regained control of my life. It's not about dieting. Losing weight is not about dieting. Right? Let me put it out there. It's about becoming a new person. It's about becoming the person who weighs 200 pounds as opposed to 350 pounds. Those are two different people. They look at food differently. They look at themselves differently. They let themselves off the hook more often or less often. They deal with stress differently. They talk differently. They react to things differently. You have to become a different person. If you want to lose significant weight, you need to change your life.
How did you change to become the marathoner that you are now? Like I said, 17. We've been Facebook friends. We're friends. We see each other every year. But on Facebook, I keep seeing you throw medals up there.
Super happy.
Yeah, I have bad knees, so for me to go, I'm thinking, I can't pound the pavement like that. But good for you. And I know a lot of people like Judson Lapley, the Evolution of Dance guy, triathlete. Ben Nyberger, a great guy who's been on the show, not only does he go scuba diving in the polar ice caps, but he does marathons all the time. I can't because my legs hurt, but I'm very proud to see you do it. What made you go, running is the key for me? Because you said you're not taking any real programs, you're kind of doing it on your own.
Yes.
What made you decide this versus going on a treadmill or aerobicizing or doing water stuff or whatever?
I didn't start running. I started walking. And I decided that I needed, and here's the other thing, you do need to exercise. You do need to be athletic. And most 350-pound people, unless you're a linebacker for the Patriots, are not athletic. And I was not athletic.
They do have strong legs, though.
Of course. Well, you're carrying that. Listen, if nothing else, you have a strong, everybody who's 350 pounds right now, trust me, you have the best six-pack in the world. You just can't see it. But to bend over and get back up, you are lifting more weight and doing more with your core than anybody else is. But so it's there. You just got to uncover it. You have to be athletic. So I started walking, and I would go, all right, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. So I would walk 15 minutes away and then 15 minutes back. 15 minutes away. I'm going to walk for 45 minutes. So I'd go 25 minutes away. You know what I mean?
Were you keeping track how far you were going?
No, only time.
Just time.
Just time.
So you couldn't tell, like 3 weeks in, you were actually getting farther because you were losing the weight and picking up the pace.
No, I wasn't even paying attention to that. And I'm a consummate learner. I'm constantly listening to podcasts and books and everything. So I would have a book on tape, or audibles, and just listening to a book. And it's your mind goes away because you're in some forest or whatever, chasing down some fairy in the book, right? So you just go. That's all I would do is just listen to audiobooks as I would walk 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away, until I was going, all right, I'm going to walk 30 minutes, and then I'm going to try to jog back. As far as I could only jog for 5 minutes. All right, no big deal. The next time I was jogging for 6 minutes, 7 minutes, until I was running. You know what? I have a funny story. My mom, I don't know if your mom does this, but my mom does this, and I know she's going to listen to this, so I apologize, Mom, but it's true. She sometimes is a bit of a storyteller. I know that I'm
Not
a storyteller.
My mother's, no, she's not a storyteller.
All right, so my mom overinflates.
That's my
things.
dad.
Okay, so at least there's somebody. My mom.
Well, where do you think that it comes from? I'm not here because no one's in my family said a word. I come from a family of mutes like Nell.
Oh yeah. I have the gift of storytelling. I get it from my mom. My mom, every tragedy that's ever happened in my childhood, her childhood, it's inflated a little bit. She takes some liberty because it just gets more exciting. And my mom has a story about me falling off the birthing table when I was born.
Slid out and kept on going?
Slid out and kept on going and broke both legs. Now, that seems like the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my life. But my mom has said it. And then when I was 2, I was hit by a car, and I broke both legs again. Come on, what are we talking about? And then, I'm diagnosed with flat feet as a kid, and I do have flat feet. All of these reasons on why I could never be, they said you'd never walk. They said you'd be in a cast. They said you'd be, have to have a cane and blah. I really didn't believe my mom all that much. Then she gave me the casts from when I was an infant. And they're tiny. They are the tiniest little cast. I'll put a picture up on Facebook. They're a tiny little cast on both legs. And I don't know why she kept them, but thank God she did. these tiny little casts. Most infants are first fitted with a Johnny, a cap. I was first fitted with casts because of 2 broken legs. I started running before I knew the truth. So even though my mother had those stories that I couldn't run and all that, I never bought into it. And that, I think, is the secret. Don't buy in, even though it's true I did fall, or what I call now, I came out running. I did run off the table.
You instead of sliding into home, you slid out of home.
That's right. Oh, Craig. It's funny. I did break both legs as an infant. I did break both my legs again, or one leg at 2 when I got hit by a car. I broke my pelvis when I fell off a building when I was in my 20s. All of that happened, and I do have flat feet. I never considered those things as roadblocks to running. And
well, the last thing I want to talk to you about is that you have been doing the videos.
Yeah.
You can go to Ralph Peterson TV on YouTube.
On YouTube, yep.
Now, you started off, you had a bunch of tips in one, or the first 2 videos you had like 1 through 6 and 6 through 8. And then now you're doing one at a time because you realize, wait a second, I just wasted, I could have had 6 videos.
I don't know that I wasted. It was that.
No, I meant you could have maximized it marketing-wise.
I know, but the first 5 needed to be together.
Oh, okay.
I kind of you do need to get on a scale. You do need to do the math and figure out where you need to be.
So the reason why I bring these up is because, A, I want people to go to them. But there was one that I did not watch because I wanted to hear it from you first.
Yeah.
There was one titled, your tip is to pee in the woods. So since I didn't watch it, I want to know how this tip is, and then we'll find out where we can get the book.
Absolutely.
How does peeing in the woods, which in my mind just gets you tick and Lyme disease in places that you don't want to get ticks.
Here's the thing. Again, I'm prefacing this whole thing. I am not. I didn't go to therapy. I didn't talk to
it's quite obvious you did not go to therapy.
Thank you very much. I literally just managed myself better, and so I manage myself better. I drive a lot for work.
Yes.
If you have any kind of a commute, you probably have a halfway point where you have to reload, so you have to use the bathroom and you have to get another coffee. For me, it was always McDonald's or some fast food restaurant because they always let you use the bathroom, and then I'm the type of person where I feel guilty and I have a little bit of an eating addiction and I love McDonald's.
Have some fries.
Right. So I would, every time I go into McDonald's to use the bathroom, I would get something. And it doesn't matter that I ate an hour ago. It doesn't matter that it's 9 a.m. and I had breakfast at 8 a.m. Listen, I'm also this person, I can't pack a lunch. Because if I ate at 7, put a lunch beside me in the car and drove an hour, I would be picking up my lunch. I can't sip. I can't. I'm ridiculous. I'm a picker. I don't know what it is. Grazer or whatever. So I know that what I had to stop doing was stopping at McDonald's or Burger King or Dunkin' Donuts no, I can't stop at a fast food place and use the bathroom without feeling guilty. I will want to buy something because I'm using the bathroom. I feel that's the give and take.
That's the
you let
social
me use
contract.
The bathroom. That's the social contract. I'll use the bathroom. I'll buy something. All right, but don't not get. Don't you hate? I know this is not that. Don't you hate going to a gas station and you bring stuff up to the counter to buy because you just want to buy stuff so you can go, where's your bathroom? And they go, oh, we don't let customers. I want to throw the stuff off the counter.
I don't use public toilets.
All right, well,
I will hold it until my kidneys burst and I have to go to the hospital.
Well, you don't spend as much time on the road as I do. Yeah. So I had to at some point go, I have to just pull over and be one of those people who pee in the woods.
Please do not do this.
Listen.
Don't pee into a water bottle and throw it out the window.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because my wife
don't
and I, we live in the middle of the city. And we live in an area there's a lot of hotels right in the Galleria. And we're walking to the Galleria, and we walk by, and there's a Snapple bottle. But it ain't Snapple.
No, huh?
And it's like, this is what the world is doing. Please don't be that guy. Also, please don't get caught for vagrancy or exposing yourself.
Well, you have to walk deep into the woods. Don't stand by the car. You have to walk in. Pee
Man
in
mauled
the
by
woods.
bear in New Jersey.
Be the type of person who would rather pee in the woods. If you're the type of person who can't go to McDonald's without getting something, then be the type of person who can pee in the woods.
If anybody knows about the Galleria in Houston, which is one of their big malls.
Stop peeing in Snapple bottles.
No. My problem is my post office is at the bottom of the Galleria, and I have to run the food court gauntlet every time I have to go to the mailbox.
Oh,
and
so you have to walk through the food court.
Yes.
Oh.
And so there you can smell the Cinnabon, Annie Frank's, the McDonald's. It's there, and it's quite an elaborate, large food court.
Oh, of course.
And so for me, my addiction when it's in the middle of the day is Starbucks, which any Frappuccino has got like 10 million calories.
Yes.
And so
You
I
gotta
really
stop that.
have to just kind of find different entrances. It's really weird. I got to go way out of my way to get into the Galleria, or I have to face the gauntlet, and I have poor judgment and very low willpower. So that makes perfect sense about peeing in the woods. I'm not peeing in the woods. I'm going way out of my way to the parking lot.
Go way out of your way. It's you are worth it. I'm telling you. If I wish, obviously, I wish that I didn't have to go through this, but because I did, that's the biggest thing. The last tip that I'd realize is that I have to start telling my story. I have to. Once you have success in anything, if you have success in business, start telling people what you did, so that they too can be successful in business.
Well, as soon as that happens, I will.
Yeah. If you have success in quitting smoking, tell people how you did that. If you have success in stopping, the madness and with the eating, that's the biggest thing. I want to tell everybody. So if you see me, you have a question, I'll be completely honest with you.
So not only are you telling your story today, but
Yes.
you're also have it available.
Yes.
On where can people find
Amazon. Yes, go to Amazon.
It's
called Adventures in Dietland
by Ralph Peterson.
by Ralph Peterson. 101 ways and unconventional ways and how I lost 150 pounds.
Oh, you got all radio on me.
Holla.
And then of course the videos at Ralph Peterson TV.
That's right. And I do a seminar called Adventures in Dietland where I talk about managing yourself at work, because that's the worst part. We all get promoted because we're really good at managing ourselves. And then once we get into the job position, we stop managing ourselves, we start managing others. And then we go to work early, we stay late, we eat lunch at our desk, and it's usually at 1 or 2 o'clock. And so we're asking somebody to go, oh yeah, you're going to the McDonald's? Well, get me 2 doubled quarter pounders, not 1, because I'm
2.
going to be here for a while and God knows I'm going to skip dinner.
Good, I'll be sleeping if I do that.
No, that's literally how it goes. And then before you know it, if you walked into my office, I am a manager. I train managers. 3-4 years ago, if you walked into my office, you'd go, whoever works here could not manage themselves out of a paper bag. My office was a mess because I was a mess. But I was managing everybody else and requiring them to be all right on their game, and I wasn't on my game anymore. I had stopped managing me, started managing others. And you got to go right back to managing yourself.
And we can find your managerial, not just
RalphPeterson.com.
Ralph. Always good to see you every year. It's great to see less of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate less of me being here.
And I know it sounds trite, but we are real proud of you. I'm really proud
No,
of you.
I really
And
appreciate
and I'm
that.
glad to see, because you're going to be here a long time.
I really thank God. Thank God.
That's the show. Thanks to Ralph for coming on and sharing. Don't forget, you can sign up for the newsletter at realitycheckpodcast.com. There you'll also find the free app. Feel free to follow the show on Twitter at realitycheckpod, as well as on Facebook. Any comments, questions, or guest suggestions should go to Craig at speakercraigprice.com. See you next week.